What is good, everyone, and welcome to the Content Creators University Season 5. You guys know this is another episode of the Season 5, and we have amazing things for you guys every single week. If you're new, allow me to welcome you here. Welcome to the show. I'm your humble servant, JP Hightek, and this is something we do every single week. What we do here is bring in experts, right? And what they do is teach you and I things that we need to understand to implement in our lives, in our businesses, in our endeavors, in order for us to always stay ahead of the competition, right? And so what we do here is allow you to learn how to leverage technology, live streaming, content creation, right? All those amazing things to keep growing your business. So this is amazing things. So we have another amazing guest backstage today. Before we get it started, if you're new, family, let us know in the comment section, where are you watching us from? If you're listening to the podcast, where are you located and listening to the podcast from? Because of course, yeah, this is both video and audio distribution of this podcast that we do every single week. And of course, if you didn't know, I want to encourage you, if you're not on YouTube or you're anywhere else, come on YouTube and subscribe, because family, this is what we do. I want to encourage you to come to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel, right? And make sure that you turn on that bell notification. The handle is JP Hightek Reviews is the YouTube channel. The handle is at JP Hightek. Something that I really appreciate from you guys is every time you let us know how we are transforming your life, how we are blessing you with the conversation we're holding. And one thing that we do is we start with the news, right? So we're about to go into the news, see what's new in the Content Creators University, because this show is both sponsored and listener supported. So we have some sponsors here. And family, I have an amazing news for you guys right after this. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Todd.
Hi.
This is Todd's mom.
Hi.
In a moment, Todd's mom will read her son's internet browsing history.
What?
Aloud, please.
No.
Supermodels on trampolines.com. Why don't girls like me? How to overcome an overbearing mother.
Okay, cut.
If you wouldn't want mom looking through your web history, why would you let hackers, ad companies, or your internet and cellular provider do the same thing?
Why does my junk burn?
They can track and record everything you do online, but not if you have ExpressVPN.
Why did you buy a $200 ninja outfit?
For fighting.
ExpressVPN apps keep your activity and identity private while you browse, stream, email, or download. Protect all of your devices with just one click.
Are my hands small?
Okay, I'm done. You guys are all terrible people.
ExpressVPN. Take back your privacy today.
Ooh.
Hey. Let's go. I had to stop that beat from in the background. I've been jamming on it. Hey, listen, this is the news, family. This is the news, right? My very first book, The Live Stream Blueprint, is now available for pre-order. The official date that it will be dropping is November 3rd. And family, I'm telling you, if you're looking for ways to start or scale your business leveraging live video, well, I'll put everything in this book. I'm so excited because I've been doing this for so long, family. What am I talking about? I've been leveraging going live, right? Every single week to grow my business for so long. And going live transformed my business. It transformed my life. It allowed me to do certain things that I didn't believe I would be able to do, right? And I've been surrounded by amazing folks, right? And so in this book, we're not just talking about technical stuff, but how to really spark an emotion, how to really use live video to attract your correct target audience. What's the mindset to approach in order to do it? What's the purpose of even doing it live versus pre-recorded videos, right? And how can you really make the return on your investment? Family is available right now. The ebook version is available right now. Go to the website, thelivestreamblueprint.com. If you listen to the podcast, thelivestreamblueprint.com. And this will be available in 4 versions. You will have, the hard copy. And I made it so easy that you can read this thing, in 3-4 hours, the same day you pick it up, and you will really get everything you need to get in order to go out and destroy your competition, because that's what I do. I'm a global branding expert, and I help individuals, organizations, and small business owners scale fast and dominate their competition, right? So if you appreciate the things you're watching, if you're like, yo, JP, I'm loving what I'm seeing right now, know that this is not just for fun, even though it's a fun thing to do, and there's a strategy to the madness. And I want you to have the strategy. I want you to understand that it's not just about posting videos every single week on, social media, every single day, everywhere, in hopes that you have a return. All you have to do is go right now and check it out. The livestreamblueprint.com is where you need to go. And family, I want to hear from you. I want you to leave me a review when you get this today on Amazon or on the website, the Livestream Blueprint. And guess what, family? We would just approve on Barnes & Noble as well. Yeah. Barnes & Noble. Let's go, right? Again, the Livestream Blueprint is here. And I want to hear from you. Let's go ahead and grow with this, family, because this is what it's all about, okay? So another thing I want to talk to you guys about, which is crucial, right? Crucial are, our guests that are coming. I know usually we go live every single Tuesday and Wednesday, right? And on Wednesday, we have a different show, What's in My Studio. But today, this week, I should say, we have Double for Your Blessing. And so we have another show coming this week. And this is our guest, right, that we'll be talking about here in a little bit, right? We're about to go into his story, his background, and we're about to learn how to, understand the approach of persistency in order to get our dreams, in order to get the things we want to do. But before we dive into that, I want you to know that we will also be here tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at the same time with my guest. Tomorrow, we're talking about the power of authentic storytelling. Look at that. We have a storyteller today talking about persistency and how to really get our dream. And tomorrow, we're talking about the power of authentic storytelling. And all this is for us to grow our brand. Yo, very exciting stuff. And I'm about to give some shout out to the folks that are joining us in the comment section. Welcome, family. Welcome. I see you guys in the comment. I also see you guys right there. I'm looking down, family. If you're wondering, we also have our live stream going on Amazon Live, right? So the comments from Amazon Live do not translate here. So I'm looking down. Yes, we are live, and shout out to you guys. Note that everything we're using to broadcast this right now is in the carousel for the folks that are on Amazon Live. I appreciate you guys being here. All right, family. So what are we talking about today? Like I said, we're talking about this topic. Is persistency the key to achieving your dreams? Is being persistent enough? Or should you? What dreams do you have? AKA, what are your goals? What are the things that you're trying to achieve that you're having a hard time achieving? And what are the things that are blocking you? Do you even know? Have you realized that certain things are not as the same? Are we too aggressive in certain areas? Those are things that we're about to discuss today with our guest. But before we do that, allow me to talk to you a little bit about his background. His name is Ashley Ephraim. He's a filmmaker, director, and creative storyteller in the Chicagoland area. And shout out to the folks from Chicago, North Carolina, and all that in the background, in the comment section. And Ashley is a good friend of mine. I love his heart. I love the way he thinks, right? And he directed several award-winning films in the film festival circuit, including TV pilot concept and web series Sparky, sci-fi TV pilot Refresh, and teen drama Hues. He's also directed short films like sport drama Glass and the upcoming Life Unexpected. Listen, he's a true professional, right? And you guys know every guest that we bring here, we call them professors. So he's our professor today. And Ashley has also worked with rising music artists ESHO, Carrington Gaines, Lauren Scott, and Grammy Award winner Joel Barnes from Maverick City Music, right? And he just came back from a trip again from Puerto Rico. And I was even texting him like, yo, I hope you're back home because we have to have this conversation. And thank God he was back. He said he is back and he's going to make sure to show up here. You know, he gets paid the big bucks, right? He is busy and he's an amazing creator. And just like you and I, we identify with him because he's the owner and chief visionary officer of BrightCap Entertainment. Through storytelling, he hopes to bring new and exciting stories to life in order to entertain, educate, and influence thinking in the hopes of bringing people together. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to bring him onto the stage right after this intro. Let's go. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the Content Creators University. How are you today?
Oh man, I'm doing so great. Thanks so much for that intro, JP. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I've
pleasure.
known you a little over a year now, and it's been a blessing for me. So thanks so much for having me.
Yes, sir. The honor is all ours here. What an honor it is to have you. I know you're a busy man. And so we've known each other for a while now. And I've been honored since day one, right? Seeing your amazing personality, your philosophy, the way you look at life, the way you think, all those things are so amazing. And we were just talking off stage. You're a father, you love family. I love family, right? And so this is what, connects us here. And you're an entrepreneur, right? You understand what it takes to really work hard to see a return the right way. So before we get into the nitty and gritty today, I want to go ahead and ask you to take a minute, introduce yourself, and then we'll give some shout out to the folks that are in the comment section. Let us know a little bit about yourself. I know you can do a better job.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm Ashley Ephraim. Telling story. I love telling story. So, ever since I was a kid, really enjoyed just shows and movies and things of that nature, and they had an influence on my life, and I always felt like it would be something really adventurous and fulfilling to do something like that. So very fortunate that a little bit later in my life, I had the opportunity to do that, and I decided to jump in and pursue that dream that I've had since I was a young kid. So very thankful for that.
Absolutely. Well, I am blessed to have you here, Ashley. Thank you so much. Now let's go ahead and give some shout out to the folks right here. Hey, I see you, my man. Donald, thank you. We appreciate you.
Don, I love that guy. He's amazing.
From Chicago, he put it in the comment section, Chicago area. Let's go. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. And welcome. We see you as well. Kirsten, thank you for being here. North Carolina.
Amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
You talking about creatives, brother? That girl, she's she's started her own podcast. I could brag on her all day. She's amazing.
Wow. Awesome. Man, I see my man. What's good? James Hicks. Yo, salute, brother. Appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for joining us. Yes, sir. Hey, James, he's been traveling a lot lately, and hopefully you're back home peacefully, brother. And let us know, family, what side of town you are, and if you have any questions to our guests while we dive into this. All right, Ashley, my first fun question that I have for you is to know, if you were a superhero, man, who will that be and why?
Man, there's a lot of options out there. I think when I was younger it would have been Superman, but I think as I've gotten a little older, it probably would be Spider-Man, to be honest with you. I just think that there's something resilient about Spider-Man, where he doesn't have all of Superman's strength and powers and all that stuff, and he just continues to persist, So staying on brand with you. But yeah, so I think definitely Spider-Man would be my choice, his powers.
Nice. Spidey. Yeah, absolutely. Spider-Man. He's, let's say, to be more realistic, closer to the realistic realm of things, right? Just an everyday guy in New York, neighborhood dude. That just cares about other people and making other people look better, shine brighter, which is something that you and I, we connect over, and I appreciate that. So now, Ashley, tell me, if you had the opportunity right? To go back in time. If you could go back and speak to your 19-year-old self today, what would be one major advice you would give yourself if you were 19 years old, seeing everything you've learned today? And why would you give that advice?
Yeah, I think the only advice I would share would be to continue the pursuit of just life, to enjoy it, and to let go of any pressures that you feel are going to be necessary for my success in life. I think at 19, especially 19-year-olds now, even there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to perform and to achieve and to be successful in comparison and all these things. And I would just tell my 19-year-old self to let it all go. Let it all go and allow the thing that's in my heart to push me forward. So that would probably be it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And I identify with that because a lot of times whenever we don't know better, because, a lot of times we don't know the future, right? And so there's one thing that's called the fear of the unknown. And so because you don't know the future, a lot of times you make the wrong decision, even though you're on the right path. So, I love that because going back and telling yourself, listen, man, chill out, relax.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's going to get better.
Let go of that pressure. Yeah. Let go of that pressure. Because there's a lot of it out there, and and that's the thing is it doesn't get easier as you get older. There's more responsibilities, more things to be done. As kids, we think that we get more freedoms and that we're in for a rude awakening when we become adults, and we find out very quickly there's so much responsibility and so many things that you have to carry, and you have to be willing to listen to your mind and your heart and be in a place where you can definitely let go of some of those pressures that aren't as crucial as one might think.
Right. It's not that serious. So let's go ahead and dive into it, brother. Today we're asking one question, right? Is persistency the key to achieving your dreams? Now, the first question that I have for you in regards to this topic, and this is so deep, is let's start with storytelling, because that's what you do, right? You're good at telling the story. So share a personal career story with us where you've seen persistence play a significant role in overcoming a challenge or achieving a major milestone. Share that with us first.
JP, honestly, man, that's pretty much my career so far as a storyteller is this narrative of persistence. It's just every project has its challenges. Every interaction, every relationship has its up and down moments. And so you have to be willing to stay focused on the task at hand and what it is that your end goal is in order to remain persistent. And they work hand in hand. You have to have focus and persistence, because if you persist but there's absolutely no focus, then your trajectory is going to be, it's kind of like a GPS. It's going to take you a whole bunch of different directions you don't want to go. So, my entire career has been like that, project after project after project. And I almost see it as if something at this point is not pushing me towards persistence, then I'm not growing.
That brings a very good question. And I love the answer you gave. But before I ask that question, could you please take a step back, right? And tell the listeners and people that are watching, for you, what is persistency? What does that mean to you?
For me, it's very simple. It's the act of knowing your goal and not giving up on it. So continuous pursuit.
Family, I hope you guys are taking note, right? So he talked about two things very major, right? You said, and I quote, knowing your goals and going after it. And you also talked about staying focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Staying focused and not getting distracted. Now, that's hard to somebody might say. Actually, the person will tell you, listen, we live in a world where distraction is everything. As a matter of fact, the industry that we are in as creators, or somebody might claim, right, or argue that we're distracting people. We're creating content to try to grab people's attention, because attention has become such a commodity today that companies, organizations, industries, enterprises are fighting for people's attention, right? So whenever you do that, you find yourself, right, in a place where you're wondering if the noise you're making, because you feel like you have to make noise so that people can notice you, right? If you feel like if that is even being noticed. And as creators, we find ourselves quickly, and for the folks that are listening, we've established this in a different episode, that a creator is anybody that's putting something into the world that never existed, whether you're an author, podcast, coach, photographer, you name it, right? Even if you post to social media, that post wasn't there before. You created that, you put it out there. So you're a creator, right? So now we find ourselves realizing that, it's not going the way I thought it would go. So the question I have for you, Ashley, is how do you keep going? What is the one thing that allows you to stay motivated, allows you to keep pushing, regardless of the fact that you may not always get the results of the outcome that you are seeking? How do you keep pushing through all this?
Man, that's how much time do we got? Man, there is a lot of layers to it, and I'll try to keep it as simple as possible for the sake of the podcast. But just first of all, full transparency, there's been a couple times this week where I just wanted to quit, or I just wanted to be done. I just didn't want to do anything anymore, projects. I just wanted to go to sleep. And I've had that happen, throughout the years that I've been doing this. But I think the thing that drives me is recognizing that when I have those feelings and those emotions of like just wanting to give up and wanting to give in, I immediately now have a trigger set in my mind that reminds me of where I've been and how far I've gotten. So taking a look at your past and your progression and utilizing that as a symbol of what was and what now is has allowed me to continue to go forward and forward and forward. And that's why I say, if I'm in those moments, I know that I'm on the brink of another growth spurt. And that's what life will continue to bring to you if you remain persistent, is growth spurts where you will continue to grow a little bit closer towards your goal. Now, the issue becomes a lot of times, JP, is that folks don't want the growth that is given to them. They want the growth that they want. They want the fast, rapid microwave growth, And we were talking about this before. That's, unfortunately, in this life, that's not how any of it works. We definitely see the narrative that a seed is planted and it takes time to grow. A baby is born, it takes time to grow. So if we have all these examples around us, then why is there frustration when people don't get the immediate results that they want? Why? I'm still trying to figure that out, because there's enough evidence to show me that it takes time to develop.
Whoo, family. We're deep. We are deep. And I love what you said. Why is it that we have frustration? Why? Why do we have frustration? Knowing.
JP, like, honestly, I think that a lot of that has to deal with people's vision on what they see. They're going to be afraid of what they see in front of them. And so they'll hold on to that without realizing that there's so much more ahead of them. So there's something else waiting for them. And I've gone through this too, where it's like I can only see what's presently there at times, or what I assume will be there, and I don't see the gift of what's to come because we're limited in that aspect.
Let me share this, that as I was reading, right, I've learned that whenever you give somebody something once, you receive appreciation. You give it to them a second time, now there is anticipation. You give it to them the third time, there is expectation. You give it to them the fourth time, there is entitlement. And right after entitlement, you know, the ask for you to give it to them again, now there's dependency. And if you refuse to give it to them the sixth time, now there's resentment towards you. Mm-hmm. So what am I trying to say? Yeah.
You just described parenting.
Exactly. And we're forgetting a lot of times, right? And that's the thing, because we're forgetting a lot of times that, grace is abundant in our lives. Yes, we are focused on something, that we want something. It's through grace that we're even receiving certain growth, because nobody owes us anything in reality. Because the simple fact that we woke up and we can breathe.
Yeah. That's it. But people just go about their day. They do their routine, right? We're habitual beings. So we wake up, do everything, and a lot of times we forget to stop and just remember, I'm here. You know, I'm present, and appreciating that and having that gratitude. I think gratitude plays a big part in persistence as well, because if you're not grateful for every step that you're taking, then it's going to be a lot harder to persist towards the goal that you want to accomplish. So yeah, so I get that, man, 100%.
So tell me, Ashley, fantastic. Tell me, from your experience, what would you say are, the common misconception people have about persistence, right? And how can understanding it better impact their journey to success? What would you say?
Yeah, I think the biggest is that it's easy to persist. There's two sides to it, two roads. There's people that think it's easy and people that think it's hard, that it's very hard to persist. And I think that the reality is that there is a middle ground here where, you're going to have moments that are easier to persist. Because again, it comes down to focus, right? And JP, you could probably relate to this. There's probably been projects that you've done where you've seen, I enjoy this project a lot more than this other project that I did before. So it's going to be easier for you to persist in that project because of your enjoyment and the feeling that it gave you and how it made you feel. You want to continue pushing forward, And there's going to be other projects that there's a responsibility that you have to your clients, to whoever, and you have to persist and you have to push forward, and that's going to be difficult and that's going to be hard. And so I think those are some misconceptions that people have. It's either one or the other. I don't think it's black or white. I think there's a lot of gray when it comes to persistence.
I love that, because for me it goes to the same telling of the bottle half full or half empty, right? Depending on how you want to look at it, it does have something in it, and the longer you hold it, it could be half empty or half full. Is going to weigh more depending on how long you're holding it. And so for me, persistency and consistency go hand in hand, because you have to be persistent to be consistent, regardless of whether you have, right? Yeah, is it because that goes into you building your brand, building your company, right? You cannot show up depending on how you feel or depending on how business is going. Because I know you, right? You know this firsthand, right? Where you've had to show up when you even have like creator blocks, like you just shared. Sometimes you're just like, yo, like I have a project that I'm supposed to work on, but I have a creative block. Like I cannot pass through that, but you have to go through it. So what are the tips and tricks would you be able to share with the audience on how you can overcome creative block? Because all creators have those times, but they have to be persistent through it and showing consistency in the things that they do.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a few things that I would talk about and recommend, and probably the biggest is being able to set time for your thoughts and for yourself. So if there's ever a block, one of the first things that I try to do is isolate myself and just be quiet. You know, and that's hard for me because I'm Puerto Rican, so I talk quite a bit. But I do try to isolate myself and just try to listen and just see what is being told to me. You know, what is being told to me, and I'm, you know this about me that my faith is very important to me. So you know, for me, again, this is where I come from. Just the way that I feel like a connection with God, you know, and just being able to isolate myself and just have my time with Him. That's helped me a lot. But I also think there's an element outside of that where we're built for community. And so having a group of people that are surrounding you that can give you encouragement, sometimes they might spark an idea when you have a writer's block, you know, and you're having a conversation. Oh man, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm blocked. You know, I'm trying to create this story about this. And all of a sudden somebody pops a phrase or something. And all of a sudden it's just, you know, the floodgates open and you have ideas. You know, I have a few friends like that, and it's not the amount, it's the quality. So the quality of the people that you surround yourself with is what's important. So building and fostering and creating and cultivating those relationships is crucial in maintaining, you know, a flow to your creativity as well.
What you're saying is so deep, right? And as you were talking, the picture that came to my mind is a circle, right? So whenever we're always talking about watching your private circle, you know, a lot of times you will be surrounded, right? So the picture is that person in the center and has the circle surrounding it. But one thing you're forgetting is the circle has to be able to help keep certain things out. So is your circle able to protect you from the outside influence? Meaning, are they a true circle that is bolted, or do they just let anything and everything from the outside also come in as they're also saying they're supporting you, which is crucial because as those things are coming in, now your circle's been polluted, right? And that is feeding into your mind and feeding into your spirit. And now there's an issue because now that you have that mind block, creative block, and you look left and right, you're looking for support from a brother or sister, support from people that you love and trust, right? And that support also is influenced by the outside world. And now you're dealing with more than you're supposed to deal with. And that's what I humbly believe a lot of times affect the way we deal with situations. Because like you just said, right, Ashley, is you may not think about something, but because of the trusted people in your life, that will give you that motivation, excitement. Like you may not be excited to do something, to go somewhere, but because somebody that you know and trust is so excited about it, that excitement impacts you. And you also feel excited because you're like, yo, that's contagious. Okay, I wasn't thinking all this about it. Let's go, right? Like, let me jump on the project and let's get it done. And so I love that. I love that you shared that. Now, of course, persistence, right, Ashley, often involves adapting, learning from our failures, right? And so can you share a specific story of a failure in your career that instead of it breaking you, you've learned from it and it allowed you actually to keep going and pushing harder?
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's been times where I can think of one specific instance where, when you're working with people, a lot of times, the clarity in communication can become lost, or it can become muddled along the way. And so, I can recall an occasion where my communication wasn't as clear as it probably could have been with a specific client. And although my intention was to, just honor the work that I was doing for them, it wasn't perceived that way, and I was really hurt by that for a while, and so for me, it really became about, like, again, just being in that position where I can let things go and just understand, even put myself in a position of, like, is the other party trying to intentionally hurt me, and having clarity on that, and just going, no, there's just a misunderstanding. And so you try to talk it through and have conversation, and try to clear the air as much as possible. But also it gives you just clarity in regards to, like, what to do going forward, And I think that's a great thing about failure. It sounds a little ridiculous, but the great thing about failure is that it ends up becoming a stepping stone when you're evaluating that failure on how it can improve you and not how it can destroy you.
Ashley, somebody might say Ashley's preaching tonight. Yes, sir. Hey, this is so real, man, because perception is what people see.
Yeah.
Right? Intention is what they do not see. Nobody can see your intentions, but they can have a perception of you. But at the same time, perception is subjective.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lesson in regards to that. Is not to worry about what you can control. Is you can't control how people react to you. The only thing you can control is how you react, how you respond to others. So
man,
you can only control your intentions towards those people and be real. Yeah. How many times you just came from a trip, right? How many times your intention about how you want to do something may have been misconstrued?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Even on this trip, there was definitely moments where it was like, trying to allow myself to communicate. Again, it came down to communication for me, and just being able to communicate, like, this is what I want. This is my intention. And I think sometimes that gets lost in the passion, that I bring, because there is a certain amount of passion that I bring that sometimes I feel like it's misunderstood. But at the same time, if there's given, you talked about grace earlier, and I am wholeheartedly a believer of grace, and I'm thankful for grace, because I wouldn't be here without it. And so learning that, trying to extend that to people, and hopefully allowing people to extend that to me, are things that I look at. But intention, when I look at intention, I'm gonna shift a little bit over to my Sunday school Bible guy, and I look at a guy like David in the Bible, all right? And David was a great king, probably the greatest king that Israel ever had. And I look at David and his life and who he was as a human, and there's a lot of parts of it that I look at and I go, he wasn't that great of a human, and he wasn't that great of a father, he wasn't a great husband, all these things, but yet he is looked at and named in the Bible as a man after God's own heart. And for me, when I look at David and I look at how God looked at him, I see that it was wholehearted intention that was being, that God was looking at, that it wasn't your actions or your works or how many good things and prayers and all the stuff you did for me, but was there a pure-hearted intentionality for you to love me? And I try to approach intention in that way. Sometimes, like you said, it gets miscommunicated. And you have to be willing to let go of those things. You have to be willing to say, I can, like you said, JP, I can only control what I can control, and allow the rest of it to just sort itself out in a way. And it doesn't mean that you can't try to make amends or try to get clarity or anything like that. I think there's honor in that. But I also don't believe that it should be something that lingers and that you allow to linger, because it can fester into something that becomes resentful and bitter and all these other things that we just don't want. So yeah, you know, I've had plenty of occasions like that. And, you know, in Puerto Rico in particular, you know, we had a discussion about like call times and things like that. And it came down to like, hey, let me tell you my intention towards why I want this video to be great. And then through that, we were able to clarify and get some clarity on it. And it ended up, after that, it was like smooth sailing, you know, after that discussion and conversation. But sometimes that needs to happen because people's intention gets lost. And not just on my part, but on other people's part, their intention. So I get to hear their intention and their heart behind it. And I go, okay, now that makes sense. You know, that brings me clarity.
And I love that, because a lot of times, you know, that those are one of the things that causes most of the problems. And you may not understand why this individual may be acting the way they are. You're exalting your imagination. You're not communicating clearly with them to the best of your ability. You're also in your corner. And now that becomes, okay, miscommunication, and nobody understands the intention of the other individual. And now here you are. And this is something that we need to master in business, right? As business owners, this is something that I personally always make sure that I try my best. It may not always. And here's the part that I want to, you know, pounder on and emphasize, in addition to what you said, Ashley, is that we can try our best as much as we can to be as clear as possible in our intentions, and it may still come across the wrong way. And there's so many factors that can cause that. You don't know the person's background, right? Their experience in regards to the subject matter. They can have, you know, something already made up in their mind in regards to the subject matter. So it doesn't matter sometimes what you say. All that matters is you've explained yourself to the best of your ability, genuinely. And if it still doesn't come across, and that's one thing I've learned in business, is the power of saying no. And that is one thing that I want to get into for our next question is, how do you leverage that in your business and in your career, saying no? But before you answer that, let's take a quick ad break, family, and we'll be back, and we'll, you know, drink some water, come back and continue this amazing conversation. Stay with me, Ashley. Family, if you're listening, stay with me. We'll be right back. Let's go.
I'm so happy. I look so good, y'all. I'm crispy. All right. I'm crispy. I'm done. Listen, y'all. Oh my goodness. Life is a little dull sometimes, right? You can see my colors right now. My colors is a little dull. And you know, sometimes you got to bring a little bit more life to what you do. Look at me. My boy JP set me up with an amazing look. The process was incredible. Before he even sent it my way, he told me how my lighting should be. We got on a Zoom call. We went through all of the settings on the camera, made sure I'm white balanced properly, made sure my lighting was right. Even the foreground and background lighting, he made sure everything was crispy. He let me know what popped with my skin. He made me feel real good. Okay, he made me feel real good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. He made me feel real good. And man, you guys can see going from 0, all right, to hero. Okay, like let me just dial it in just enough. He even gave me the number to dial it in on. Now, some of you may be asking, what in the heck is a LUT? Now, a LUT is all about getting that custom dial-in color grading that you need just for your custom look. It was important to me as I'm growing my YouTube channel, as I'm growing as a broadcaster, as I'm growing as a content creator. I wanted to make sure that all of my coloring was right and tuned in each and every single time I turn on the camera. Every single time I look into the camera and I'm doing a video, I want to make sure I look good. And if you are a content creator, you're going to want to have your own custom look. You don't want to just download one from the internet and you just put it in there and it looks kind of cool. You want to make sure you have something that's custom from you that no one else has, and my boy JP is the one who can make it happen for you. I'm so happy with my product. It's just incredible. Get it today. I'm overjoyed. It's just an amazing quality product, and I appreciate JP so much, man. You just don't know how amazing you are and how great this product is and this LUT. I'm so happy. I look so good, y'all. I'm crispy. All right, I'm crispy. I'm done. Yeah, just get with JP now. Just get with him now. That's it.
All right, family, welcome back here. So excited that you guys are still with us. And so that was a little ad break. And if you didn't know, we've been here with our guest, right? And our guest, Ashley, we'll be discussing, the importance of persistency and how that affects our lives and how we should be looking at things, that happens to us, situations when they arise, and understanding, the power that we have of those situations sometimes we can't control the situation, right? So what are we doing to not let that affect us negatively, right? Or not let that situation destroy how we feel about certain, things in our lives. Because as creators, we, a lot of times, we just discussing that off stage, that we may take things more to heart than we're supposed to sometimes, right? Because we love what we do so much, and every project is a baby. But sometimes you gotta understand that that's just an adopted baby, right? So the real parents of the baby are taking it back. So you got to let it go and know that it's okay, right? Even if that baby's not with you anymore, you took the time to take care of the baby for a little bit of time, and all is well. Now, I know you watched that ad and you're like, yo, what is it about LUT? Well, LUT is something that I use if you're, watching this show, if you're listening to it. Hop on YouTube at JP Hightek, JPHIGHTK, and come and check out our live broadcast. And one of my secret tools, a lot of folks want to ask me, JP, what is that secret sauce that you have? Because I have the same camera you have maybe, but I'm not able to do certain things or look a certain way. We have a LUT, right, that we've applied onto our encoder live. And if you're a cinematographer, like lookup table, that's your color correction that we use in post-production. And so we have that custom made, right? A lot of times people ask, why can't I just buy any LUT out there and use it? You can buy any LUT that you want. However, it was not custom made to your studio setup, to your primary colors, to your lighting, to your skin tone, right? And understanding that some LUTs are created for indoor, others for outdoor, others depending on the situation, nighttime. There's a whole lot of presentation you can do when you create a LUT. And so when it custom created for you, all that is put into consideration so you can look the best possible, right, on camera and when you apply that. So go ahead. If you're interested in this, go and visit the website, jphightek.com/custom LUT. Now, let me go ahead and bring my guest back here. Hey, Ashley, thank you. And thank you again for all the amazing things you've been dropping. Man, this conversation is deep, right? And we've been learning a lot from your experience and your expertise. And now we've gone to the point where we want to understand the power of saying no, right? How can saying no empower a creator? And what do you think about sometimes you just got to turn your back and walk away if you don't believe that is a win-win for both parties?
Yeah. No, the power of saying no is something that, to be honest with you, JP, I still struggle with it, at times. But I found that every time that opportunity is presented, it allows me to have a certain ownership of who I am and how my time is delegated, and And I think that for me, it's been something where I've had to realize that I've had like a limited mindset when it comes to why I want to try to do everything, at the same time in the same place. And I think that just comes to a lack mentality, a mentality where you feel like there's no like abundance out there. And I'm not talking about like prosperity gospel or anything like that. I'm talking in terms of like that there's this, and in the creative space we see it all the time, that it feels like there is a limit on how many people can actually be influential in creativity, when that's completely false. I think that we're on the brink of a renaissance age when it comes to creativity. And we make excuses a lot of times for why we can't go somewhere, like AI, for example. AI is a big thing. Like people will use that as a limit. Well, I guess I can't edit anymore because I have a machine editing for me, and all these other things. And it's like, you have to manipulate that and use that to your advantage, and you have to see the opportunity. Again, perception, right, and perspective are going to be two different things that you have to wrestle with. And for me, when it comes to like projects, it's looking at them from a standpoint of like, is this going to elevate me or is this going to sustain me? And which one do I want to choose? Because if I want to just simply be sustained, then I wouldn't have quit my job, almost 4 years ago to jump into this full time. If I wanted it to be a sustainable thing, I would have continued working as a biomedical technician. I would have continued that 9 to 5, that comfort, that level where there's no growth, And I remember those days of just plugging away, If I say no, it gives me a certain freedom to go, what can I use now to elevate what I need to do? And that's how I try to look at that now, is in this mindset of like, no will lead to a better and bigger yes for me. And as long as I have that in the back of my brain, like, then it becomes a lot simpler to say no to certain things that I know that are just going to sustain me. They're not going to grow me.
See, I love that, because saying no opens the door, right, to what you need, not just what you want. Because a lot of times, like you just said, we want something that's going to sustain us for the immediate future. And then we do not have the strength to embrace what's actually going to elevate us. And the elevation test always comes, man.
Yeah.
And you can miss it. And the thing is not to miss that opportunity. Now, of course, let me be clear, family. Ashley and JP are not saying leave your job today and pursue your passion. We never said that. All right, that goes back to perception, right? Interpretation in your own mind. That's not what we said, right? What we're saying is understanding the opportunities that are coming before you and knowing when you should say no to them. Because you may want to do it, right? You may want to jump and go on a 6 months tour and shooting, for example, behind the scenes for a major contract. But what is that going to do to your, maybe you have a relationship at home, family and all of that? How will that affect your life? If it's not going to elevate your life and is in reality going to destroy the things you have, is it worth it?
Yeah. Oh, man. And there has to be an evaluation, and I think just to give context to that and clarity to that statement that I made when I quit, it was actually a 3-year process for me to get to that point where I quit. And it was very, very strategic. I was in a place that I was not growing. I was not, there wasn't any challenge for me where I was at. And so I had no idea that I was going to be a filmmaker, that I was going to pursue filmmaking. I had no clue at that point, 6 years ago. And it came because I started strategizing. What do I want to do? What are areas where I feel I have some talent in, or some areas where I feel I want to explore? And what things do I say yes to? What things do I say no to that are going to bring me closer to the things that I enjoy, that bring me life, and that bring me, just this sense of purpose, this sense of calling. And so as that journey began, I actually began by talking to somebody that's a big mentor of mine and asking them if I could follow them around for a year and just listen to him speak, and listen to him, go on speaking circuits and see how that was done, because I thought maybe there's something there in my future. And I learned a lot through that process, and that led to another thing and another thing, and eventually, it landed, a 14-page script landed on my lap that was, something I thought, this is really cool. Why don't we try and go for it and develop it and see what happens? And that's how this all came to be. But it was in pursuit of the things that I needed to say yes to, and letting go of the things that I had to say no to. It was in that tension that I was living in. And when it came down to the strategy, I'm married, I have 3 boys at home. I had to consider those things. I had to consider, what's that going to look like? What's my first year going to look like? Me potentially not earning a penny. What is that going to do to my marriage? What is that going to do to me as a father? How's that going to affect me mentally? Not being the provider in the home, all those things. And you navigate through that in a way that the people that are, again, in your circle are involved, that they can share wisdom, that they can share knowledge, and that's a level of trust that you have to give for that to happen. And so that whole process for me was a 3-year process, that the day that I put my notice in, I knew I'm going to be all right. At least for a year, I'm going to be all right, JP. And if I have to go back, last resort, I'm going to go clawing and fighting. But, by the grace of God, here I am going into year 4 next year. And, there's no signs of slowing down as of yet. So I'm thankful for that moment in time that I took to really not jump into something too quickly, but to actually really discern and have an idea of what it looks like to actually, pursue a dream and pursue something that I'm passionate about.
Hey, from a full-time entrepreneur to another, salute to you, man, because I know it's never easy, but we have something called faith. That's right. Allowing us to keep pushing, right? Now, I can't believe I looked up while you were talking and realized, snap, we're at the end of our show. Oh, goodness. So I have one last question for you, right? And we always want to end the show on a positive, practical note. And so I want to ask you to give us some practical tips or advice of how listeners or people that are watching this, how they can maintain a balance between being persistent, being patient, and knowing it might be necessary to, change direction sometimes depending on, what's, our endeavors and what's happening to us. What are the best ways to balance all that?
Yeah. Balance is an interesting thing. I think that a lot of times we're in this pursuit of balance, and there's a realization, a very real thing, where there has to be an understanding of priorities, and that has to be bigger than balance, meaning that there's going to be times where, you're solely focused on projects, and that's what you need to focus on. But that doesn't mean that you leave your family to kind of do their own thing, So when it comes to the balance of that, is having an understanding of, like, what conversations can I have with my family and with my people, and go, at this moment, this is what I need to do. and I'll come back here to this side, and I'll make sure that I give the time and the effort and the love and everything that we need to continue growing our family and our relationships and everything like that. So I think, you know, when it comes to balance all those things, it's really about having a recognition of what your priorities are in those moments, and making sure that you prioritize accordingly, and that you shift when you need to shift. So having a good recognition of that, of when do we need to shift our priorities into this new set. And I think when people have that, you know, along with what I said earlier about like community, just having people that will keep you accountable. Accountability is one of the things that I like preach on constantly, because if we don't have accountability, there's no, you know, there's no control as far as what we do, you know, and we can get off track very quickly. As I'm sure you have people in your life, JP, that keep you accountable to certain things. I've surrounded myself with people in my life that do the same thing. So for anybody out there that's like looking at persistence, please just make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that can keep that accountable, you know, not people that are going to tell you not to pursue the dream and go the safe route, not people that are going to tell you, you know, you shouldn't do that because that's not what everybody else does. You know, look for people that will encourage you, that will bring you wisdom, and that will bring you knowledge in terms of like the things that the anchors that you need in order to pursue the dreams that you have. So everybody needs an anchor. Everybody needs people that are surrounding them, that are going to encourage them and give them that piece of just wisdom that they're going to need throughout their journey. So I highly encourage that for everybody.
And this brings us to the end of the show, family. Ashley, I want to thank you so much. We can't let you go without you telling the people, right? What are the places and spaces they can connect with you on? For the folks that want to work with you, just want to network with you, where can they go? Let us know.
Well, first, JP, thank you so much for the time, man. You're a gift in my life. I'm very thankful for you and for everything you're bringing into this community of creatives and people that are looking to elevate their level of content creation. You're a real gift to that. And I'm excited for your book. I'm excited for all these amazing things that you got like just lined up, man. And yeah, I'm sure that the next time we get together, it's gonna be really cool things that we're talking about. So, but yeah, as far as where people can find me, just Google Ashley Ephraim. You'll find most of the information on there. I'm on Instagram, you know, all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So feel free to check it out and follow me. Give me a little follow. BrightCapEnt.com. You can check that out. That's my company. Check out the pilot, Sparky. It's hilarious. It's a comedy about the trades. So if you like The Office, if you like Parks and Rec, it's a little bit edgier as far as language, but it's really entertaining. So take a look at it and let me know what you think. I'd love to get some feedback from folks.
All right, Ashley, I want to thank you. Donald, we appreciate your comment. He said you guys both rock. Yeah, thank you, Donald, and thank for all the folks that join us. So, hey, Ashley, don't go anywhere. Stay backstage as I go ahead and close with the folks here. And really, really, we appreciate you and what you do. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, family, this brings us to the end of the show. And so excited, family, for what we have going on. And what am I talking about? Well, we have another episode tomorrow, right? Tomorrow here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're talking about storytelling, right? And so it's about to be amazing conversation. And just to remind you guys, in case you didn't hear us talk about it, family, The book is now available for pre-order. Go ahead and visit the website, thelivestreamblueprint.com, and this will give you everything you need to know about starting and scaling your business with live video. It's done wonders for me and my business. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I've been going strong for over 10 years, and this has been amazing in my life. And the goal for this book is for you to pick this up, right? And you, in a matter of hours, being able to read this thing and know exactly what you need to do, how to approach live streaming, and the things you need to implement so that you are effective. And so if you find yourself not being effective or you're looking for a true strategy to really allow you to grow, this is it. This will allow you to, build that proper strategy and approach and leverage live video to really transform your business. It's done wonders for me, and I'm praying that it does the same for you. Go pick it up today. Available everywhere. And of course, I want to hear your review. It will be officially available on November 3rd. Right now is the pre-order. Go ahead and grab it. And I want to thank you for joining us, family. And I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Be safe, family. Like I said, shalom. Peace.